Welcome back to Season 4 of Let Me Pull Your Coat, the unfiltered world of Master Silk. If you've been riding with us since the beginning, you already know how we do things here. No fairy tales, no sugarcoating, no pretending the world is something it isn't. In other words, and definitely no bullshit. Just real questions, real situations, real answers, and real consequences. Before we get into today's messages, make sure you subscribe and follow the podcast and visit the website, letmepullyourcoat.com, because we've added something new. If you subscribe to our newsletter, you know that we've started a brand new series called Tales from the Let Me Pull Your Coat podcast. These are story-driven episodes based on real messages and real situations people send in. The stories are about betrayal, bad decisions, manipulation, street choices, and the consequences that come with them all. You can find those stories now on our website and on our new YouTube channel, Tales from the Let Me Pull Your Coat podcast. Some of these stories are wild. Some of them are painful, but every one of them is based on something real that our listeners sent in. Now let's get into the first question of Season 4. Our first question comes from Marquise in Phoenix, Arizona. Marquise writes, Master Silk, I caught my girlfriend going through my phone while I was in the shower. When I confronted her, she said if I had nothing to hide, it shouldn't matter. But she keeps her phone locked like the fucking Pentagon. Is that a red flag? Marquise, let me pull your coat. People who demand transparency but refuse to give it are not asking for trust. They're asking for control. There is a difference. Trust works in both directions. When someone wants access to everything in your life but treats their own life like classified information, that tells you something. It tells you they are comfortable inspecting you but uncomfortable being inspected themselves. And that imbalance becomes a problem. The issue here isn't the phone. The issue is the double standard. If she believes transparency is healthy, then transparency applies to both of you. If she suddenly becomes defensive when that same rule applies to her, then you already have your answer. Trust should feel equal. Control never does. Our next message comes from Danielle in Toronto, Canada. Danielle writes, I have a brother who borrows money from everyone in the family and never pays it back. When we stop giving it to him, he says we don't support him. What should we do? Danielle, here's the reality. Some people don't borrow money. They collect it. They move from one family member to another like a financial tornado, leaving excuses behind instead of repayment. And when the money stops teething, the guilt trips begin. Suddenly, you're the bad person for protecting your wallet. Let me make something clear. Helping someone once is generosity. Helping someone repeatedly when they never fix their behavior becomes sponsorship. If your brother wants support, support can come in different forms. You can give advice. You can suggest resources. Give him encouragement. But constant financial rescue only teaches him that someone else will always catch him when he falls. Eventually, the family has to stop cushioning the landing. Our next message comes from Lewis in Birmingham, England. Lewis writes, I found out a coworker has been spreading rumors about me at work. If I confront him, it will turn into a big office drama. If I ignore it, it continues. What would you do? Luis, workplace politics can be ugly. The biggest mistake people make is assuming silence will stop rumors. It usually doesn't. Rumors spread because they face no resistance. But confrontation doesn't always mean yelling or creating a scene. Sometimes the best move is strategic. Clarify facts with management if necessary. Document all interactions. And most importantly, continue doing your job well. Professional consistency exposes gossip faster than emotional reactions ever will. People eventually notice who's working and who is whispering. and whispers rarely survive long under bright lights. Our next question comes from Andre in Dallas, Texas. Andre writes, my girlfriend wants access to my bank accounts if we're going to move in together. We are not married yet. That doesn't sit right with me. Andre, trust and financial access are two different things. Moving in together is not the same as merging financial lives. Marriage does change legal responsibilities. However, living together does not. Until there is a legal commitment, shared finances should be handled carefully. Keep separate accounts. Have clear written agreements about shared expenses. This promotes transparency without surrendering control. Because once financial boundaries disappear, they can be very difficult to rebuild. Protecting your finances is not selfish, it's responsible. Before we continue, let me remind you again about something new we've launched. Introducing the new Tales from the Let Me Pull Your Coat podcast. These are story-driven episodes based on real situations people send in. Stories about cheating spouses, stories about people getting exposed, stories about manipulation, betrayal, and street-level decisions that come back to bite people years later. You can listen to those stories on our website and watch them on YouTube. Just search for Tales from the Let Me Pull Your Coat podcast, because sometimes a story teaches a lesson faster than advice ever could. This next message comes from Sifo in Cape Town, South Africa. Sifo writes, my cousin suddenly started making a lot of money, but refuses to explain how. He wants the family to invest in his business idea. What do you suggest? Sifo, when someone asks for your money but refuses to explain their business clearly, that's not an opportunity. That's a fucking warning. Transparency is the foundation of legitimate investment. If someone can't explain how the money is made, how the risk works, and how the return is structured, you are not investing. You are gambling. Family relationships complicate these situations because people feel pressure. But pressure is not due diligence. If the opportunity is real, it will survive questions. If it falls apart under basic questions, it was never real to begin with. Let's take a moment to shout out a few listeners supporting the show. Shout out to Kevin in Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to Natalia in Madrid, Spain. Shout out to Darren in Melbourne, Australia. Shout out to Rachel in Charlotte, North Carolina. And shout out to everyone asking questions and sending messages through the website. Your questions keep this show moving. This week's coat pull of the week is simple. A lot of people want the truth, but they only want the truth if it agrees with them. The moment reality challenges their decisions, they call it judgment. They call it negativity. They call it hate. But truth doesn't exist to make you comfortable. Truth exists to show you where you stand. If you ignore it long enough, consequences become the teacher. And consequences don't care about feelings. That wraps up the season 4 premiere of Let Me Pull Your Coat. Make sure you subscribe, follow the podcast, and visit the website, letmepullyourcoat.com. And don't forget to check out the new series, Tales from the Let Me Pull Your Coat podcast. Story-driven episodes based on real messages and real situations. Because sometimes the best lesson comes from watching someone else's mistake unfold. I'm Master Silk, and I'm just here to pull your coat. Until next time, I wish you much love and much respect.